So my name's Joe Moran. So I've got the wrong date up on there. I'm from the Hague University of Applied Sciences. I've got 20 minutes and I've got so much information to tell. So I'm not going to cover everything, and I'll try and just cover what I think are the most important points. Be happy to answer questions. I've got lots more topics on there which I may not have time to mention, but I'm happy to share with people afterwards, should they so wish. Okay, so let's I'm going to skip some things. I think you all heard about living in the Netherlands, what it's like. It's a great country. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to repeat myself. And so I'll focus a little bit more on the city where my university is, something about the university itself, and the sorts of studies that we have. The Hague is the city of government. It's the city where the embassies are. It's where the parliament is. It's where the political power is. It's also a business capital. So it's also United Nations city, the second biggest United Nations city after New York. So it's a very, very, very international place. It's a very pleasant, very, very nice city to live in. It's got lots of kilometers of, it's got about 11 kilometers of beach line. Lots of beautiful buildings and cafes and museums and culture. It's all there on your doorstep with an amazing international vibe to it. Very safe, very well organized. It's really nice. There's a few pictures of the university. We've got 11 kilometers of beach. I wouldn't recommend it in the middle of winter, but in the summer, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a mixture of old and new. So the old tends to be more the business parts. They like the old buildings. The government tends to like nice modern buildings. Lots of parks, about 1/3 of the city are parks. On the bottom left, you see the International Peace Palace, which gives the Hague its name as the International City of Peace and Justice. It's where countries come to sort out their disputes. And on the bottom right is one of the palaces that the king has. If you're a king, you always have at least several palaces, apparently. And this is his working palace. So he comes here every day to work. The Netherlands is a very informal society, so it is not unusual in The Hague to see the king actually cycling into work in the morning. Yeah, so can you imagine the president of Taiwan cycling through Taipei to go to work in the morning? In The Hague, the king actually cycles to work. Okay, I'm going to skip the education system because I think you've probably dealt with that already. We're a University of Applied Sciences, so we emphasize things like being practical. Everybody will do an internship. Everybody will learn things like working in groups. They'll do assignments for companies or outside organizations during the program. So by the time you graduate from a bachelor's with us, you're ready to start working and jobs are readily available, certainly in the Netherlands. Okay. A little bit about the university itself. We're one of the larger universities, about 27,500 students. We've got students from basically everywhere in the world. We're the most diverse university in the Netherlands. We've got staff and students from over 150 different countries. So you name a country, we've got it. We also have some Taiwanese students. Okay, we have enough that if you want to find another Taiwanese student, you can. And if you want to avoid them, you can easily do so. It's up to you. But you will study in classes with students from all over the world. So it's a very international vibe. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about choosing your program. We have different sorts of programs, and I'll tell you about those in a moment. What I would advise everybody is choosing a good program is really important. If you're going to do a bachelor's, it's going to be at least 3-4 years of your life. It's going to be a master's, it's going to be at least a year of your life. So the more research you do, the better. So we've got trial study days if you're ever in the Netherlands. You can meet students online and ask them questions. We have Taiwanese students who are happy to talk with you and tell you what it's really like to be a student with us. So please avail yourself of all those opportunities. These are some of the programs that we have. I won't put the full list. We've got several new programs which have just started. I'll mention those in a moment. We've got business. You'll notice I put numbers, 3 years and 4 years. With Applied Sciences University, it's normally 4 years for a bachelor's, but we're a little bit different. We also offer some programs in 3-year versions. Same diploma, but it's more intensive and you need a higher entry level. So international business, international finance, for example, can be done in 3 or 4 years. Most Taiwanese students would get into the 4-year program, might get into a 3-year version, but that is something that we decide on an individual basis. So business is general, so you get a bit of everything and then decide later on what you want to specialize in. If you're into numbers and finance, finance is a really good program. My background is finance. I've taught on this program. If you don't like mathematics, don't do this program. It's going to be a nightmare. It's not that you do lots of mathematics, but my experience is people who are good at mathematics usually find finance very easy. The people who hate mathematics will hate the program. We have international sport management. Sports is one of the biggest industries in the world. It's everything from, okay, I don't know, which is the most popular sport in Taiwan? Baseball? Yeah, basketball, okay. We'll take something like basketball. That's a massive industry. Look at how much money the top players earn, or how much money each club generates. In Europe, it's football, soccer. You take teams like Manchester United or Real Madrid, and they're worth billions of dollars or euros. And then you've got the Olympic Games, you've got Nike, you've got Adidas, you've got big sporting events, you've got management of facilities. It's a massive industry. So we have a sport management program. We have user experience design, which is about combining technology and people and business together. So writing apps, redesigning websites, making technology approachable for people. So you do some programming, but you'll also look at business, you'll look at people, psychology, and other things as well. The Hague is the city of international law. It's where the International Criminal Court is based. If you want to study international law, it is the best place in the world to study it. Because everything international to do with law is in The Hague. International public policy and leadership is like law, a 4-year program. That's an international relations program. The Hague is also a great place for that. You've got all the embassies there. You've got the United Nations, the European Union, lots of international organizations based there. Process and food technology, which is a chemical engineering program. In Europe, there's a massive shortage of people studying in that area. So finding a job in that is especially easy. Industrial design engineering is about the design and production of products. European studies, well, you're in Europe. You want to do, it's the biggest trading bloc in the world. It's a good area to learn more about if you ever think about going into business, for example. And communication management is about how organizations manage communication, which these days is getting more and more difficult. We also have some new programs starting, which I've not put on there, but I will mention. We also have applied computer science. We also have electrical and electronic engineering. I know Taiwan is one of the 2 or 3 biggest producers of semiconductors in the world, but you might not know that most of the machines you use to produce those semiconductors are actually produced in the Netherlands. ASML produced them. About 80 to 85% of all semiconductors produced in the world are produced on machines made in the Netherlands. It's a massive industry in the Netherlands. Dutch government is pushing very, very hard to bring in foreign talent. And so we're offering programs in that area. So if you're thinking, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing something in that area, we've got the programs for you. I can tell you more if you come to my table later. And the job prospects are outstanding. So if you want to stay in the Netherlands, you'll be welcome to stay. If you want to go back home to Taiwan, of course, I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunities for you there. Okay. Right, so these are the master's programs that we have in English at the moment. But there's some others just starting: communication, international communication, an MBA, and financial management and control. They all require 2 years of work experience. Next level engineering is a program for people with technology and engineering backgrounds. that doesn't require work experience. We've also got some new ones starting, which is data-driven business and quantum technology and sustainability transitions. Sustainability transitions and data-driven are from the business faculty. Quantum technology is a technology program. Again, this is related to the semiconductor industry. After graduation, yeah, you're very welcome to stay in the Netherlands. You have a year to look for a job. If you get the right sort of job, and it's fairly easy to get that, you can apply for long-term residence. You have to commit to learning Dutch at that point, but you don't need much level of Dutch. Employment rates are extremely high, a lot higher these days than 85%. It's probably more like 95%. It's easy to get jobs in the Netherlands, I think, at the moment. Or if you want to continue and do a master's program, either with us or at other universities across the world, again, it's easy to do so. Students from our law program, for example, have been accepted into universities like Cambridge, which is probably the #1 and #2 university in the world. Right, sorry. Fees are pretty much the same for all. We're not certain what the fees next year will be for non-EU students, but it will be about 10,000 euros. Okay, if you're doing the executive programs like MBAs, the fees are anything from about 18 to 22,000. Okay. Admissions, I'm not going to go into details on that, but basically, if you're in your final year of university or school, you can apply. You don't need to wait to get all your diplomas in order to apply to us. And if you want more specific information, you can do that. Deadline for application is the 1st of May, and it's the hard deadline because we need to get you a visa, and that takes time. We have an accommodation service for those of you who need help with accommodation. Again, applying early is a good idea because the earlier you apply, the earlier you can start looking for housing. Okay, we have different options. We don't own our own housing, but we reserve rooms. And, you know, obviously the earlier that you can get into that system when it opens up, the more choice there is. Housing is an issue, but it's not a nightmare. It's somewhere in between. So if you're organized, you're fairly open-minded, you keep your options open, you should be able to get housing with us. Yeah. If you apply on 30th of April, the day before the deadline, then you're probably going to have a problem. Yeah, so don't wait too late. Okay. Like I said earlier, we want you to find out as much as you can before you come. So, for example, before you move, we'll introduce you to something called the Go and Connect app, which is where you get to know students from all different backgrounds. So if you want to find another Taiwanese student that's into horse riding, you can go into this app and you'll probably find somebody that meets that description. People always ask, what advice would I give? And I think the best advice I can give to anybody is learn how to cook. Because a student that is a good cook will always have friends, guaranteed. It saves you a lot of money as well. And Chinese cooking is good. Taiwanese cooking is good. So, you know, make yourself an ambassador for it. A few pictures of the school. Most of the international students study on the main campus in the center of The Hague. The sports students study at our sports campus. That's about 10 minutes away. Technology students at our Delft campus, which is also about 15 minutes away. But we try and house all the international students together so that you've always got a community of international students with you. Okay, that's a really, really quick gallop through what my university does. If you left it up to me, you would be here for the next 3 hours, and I'd still be talking. But we've got 20 minutes. So are there any questions that you'd like to ask of me? No questions means one of two things. Either I did such a good presentation, there really is nothing to ask, or it's so terrible, you just don't know what to ask me. So any questions?
For students who get the bachelor degree, are they allowed to work part-time?
Yes, that's a good question. Students, whether you do a bachelor's program or a master's program, you are allowed to work part-time. Legally, you're allowed to work an average of 16 hours a week. And it's very easy, in The Hague, it's very easy to get part-time work. And to give you an idea of what the earning level would be, a Dutch student wouldn't get out of bed for anything less than $12 an hour if you did it in dollars. Yeah. And by the time when you get to 21, the actual level goes higher. So then you probably in euros, you'd be able to earn 14, 15 euros an hour, which would be like in dollars, 17 or 18 US dollars an hour. It's easy to find that work. Delivery services, working in restaurants, probably the best job for students because you also get to eat free food. Child minding, all sorts of things. There's plenty of work available. And it's pretty well regulated. Yeah, so pretty safe. It's well regulated. You can do a lot of it in the evenings or at the weekends, so you don't have to interfere with your studies.
Did you say $17 to $18?
When you're around about 21, yeah, in dollars, US dollars, I would expect you'd be able to start earning that. Not everybody, but most people will get that.
Would it also be easy to get a part-time job at campus?
We have a few jobs on campus, but there's plenty of people offering work. Everywhere you go, the signs up looking for people. And not speaking Dutch is really not a big problem, especially not for working in restaurants or delivery services or whatever. Yeah. It's nice if you can speak some Dutch, but if you don't speak it, nobody really cares. Biggest problem in learning Dutch is actually getting Dutch people to practice with you. Everybody speaks English fluently.
So from the school perspective, it's actually pretty okay to work part-time based on the school.
No, it's part of Dutch tradition and culture that everybody, when they're a student, does at least some part-time work. It's got nothing to do particularly with income or how wealthy your family is. It's part of growing up. Both of my children had part-time work. I had part-time work. It's just expected that you do some part-time work, even if your parents have plenty of money. So universities are used to it. We encourage it. Any other questions? I must have done a brilliant presentation or really terrible. What do you think?
Well, can I continue asking questions?
Sure.
What about student associations? You've got them like photography or dancing, clubs available for students?
Yep. I think even before you join, if you're interested in something particular, some sport or hobby or pastime, use this Go and Connect app that we introduce everybody to, find out if there are other students with the same interest. And then we have lots of clubs and societies on campus. Even if we don't have it, we have what's called a sport and culture office. And if we don't have something, they will know who locally has it. So if you're interested, I had some students last year asked about horse riding. Now, we don't do any horse riding on the campus. We're right in the middle of the city. But yeah, they found a horse riding club for those students. So all these things are possible. No questions? Okay. Right. If you want to ask questions but feeling a little shy, I'll be at my table. I've also got a couple of alumni hanging around. Ask them what it's like. They're the experts. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for your time and your patience, and I wish you good hunting today. Thank you.